Morning, guys. John here, Mr. Forex Fire. It is Friday, the 15th of October. This year has absolutely flown over. And this morning, we're going to be looking at, again, the 1 minute scalp, the Euro USD. If you just bear with me, because I've got a couple of screens in front of me now. So it's going to get a little bit of getting used to. I've updated my station at the minute. I'm on 2 screens. So go on the 1 minute scalp. Share the screen. Let's just see if we can get this on here. Just to give you an update. There we are. So what we have, guys, I mean, this was the first 4 weeks. First 4 weeks of regular compounding using the 1% risk per trade, Euro USD 1 minute scalp, no other pair, simply just the Euro USD. Did this live in front of you each day. And again, these will be in the playlists. On week to week, as I do the 5 day week, they'll be listed as a playlist for those trading weeks. So again, I'm going to try and put like week 1 as a playlist, week 2 as a playlist, so you can watch any of these. And each individual video will hold some form of educational purpose. Okay, so they are worth watching through. And over my 2 hours of trading, obviously I'm recording and then pausing just before like there's any sort of movement. So you're getting a before, draw up, and then once it goes quiet, if there's like a consolidation, I'll pause the video, then we come back on and record. So that's the preference on how I work. We had a 39.07 growth, 1.95 over 4 weeks. Now we're going into part 2, which is week 1, part 2, but we are making in addition to the trading. So we're using asymmetrical compounding. I went over that over the last 2 days. What that entails is once you have 2 winning trades, we sort of turn the dial on the next one. And if I'd implemented that onto this structure, we would have been on 115%. So just let that sink in for a moment. Where we are at the moment today, there was no trading on the Monday because I was at hospital. I go and have blood tests every 2 weeks for my arthritis and the medication I'm on. So there was no trading on the 12th. We started trading yesterday for the first time on week 1, part 2. We had our first 2 winners. Then we went for the asymmetrical compound trade effect. Unfortunately, that didn't come in, but our 2 previous trades were protected from that loss. Okay, so even though there was a -3 here, we still ended the day on a +2. So we went into yesterday with a win of 1.78 growth. So today we only need to get 1 more trade. What that means is if we get 1 winning trade this morning, we are then looking to, again, turn the dial to double up on our money. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to minimize this, maximize that. And we'll have a look at what's happened on the movement. Yesterday, we were anticipating price possibly bouncing off here and then coming up to the top side. We came down and we smashed through the bottom end, to be fair, more or less coming to the bottom end. So we were stuck between a halfway point. We can see on here at the moment, most certainly, there was a nice harmonic pattern, which obviously came out, broke the structure of the top end, respected this area here, and then came back down. Generally on the harmonics, you will get a respecting of those areas. It came down, respected into that, and then it shot back up. There was another harmonic in between that as well, but that's not what this is about. This is just obviously training my eye as well. I'm going to get rid of these 2 arrows, and then we're going to set our goalpost for today, because we're 5 minutes into the first part of our session. So let's just take a look. There we are. So again, first things first, let's set our goalposts. So we are looking at 8:30. So again, pink goalpost, 8:30 a.m. start, and then (10:30 a.m.) finish. Now this keeps us super focused, dialed in, and protects us from doing any over trading. We started at 8:30, we finish at 10:30. Your 2 hours might be different. From there, I like to draw my path, and these are just what we would call main structure swing points. You don't have to do every single last one, but it's the main swing areas where you're getting a break of structure each time around. Okay, so there's a break of structure there. We'll come down to double bottom, probably just do it as a consolidated zone. We'll go to here, up to there. And the reason we do this as well, guys, is simply because it holds a higher time frame value. Okay, just bear with me, guys. So that'll hold a higher time frame sort of structure. And as we drill into that, you'll see we've got 1 minute intermediary in here. But if we go up to the 15 minute, that 15 minute, as we go up 2 time frames, sort of holds structure to a certain extent, as you can see pretty well. Okay, and the reason why we do that is because we can see areas like here. This was in the range. It come out, it come back into the range if we scroll that out. So that just showed you the importance of this area here yesterday. However, on the 15 minute, there's something I just want to draw out on the moment at the minute. So I just want to do that there as a possible area. Let's take a look. It's a possible area. Again, that range just above the range. So there's an area there we could come to. And I'm going to keep the bias on this higher side as well. Right, so from there, 15 minute, we've got 2 little doji candles. There's been a push up, so there's going to be a shift in direction. Come down to 5 minutes. We can see again, it's there's a higher high here, lower low. We haven't pushed above this, so it looks like we may be pushing down into these areas. Let's go down to 1 minute and then start our structure points, because this is important as well. Let's do our structure points. So this looks as if it's been pretty choppy, to be fair, pretty choppy. So we've got the low, the high, lower high, higher low, sorry. I've got them two mixed up yesterday, so I do apologize. High, high. And finally, a higher low. So structure-wise, I'm looking for one of 2 things at the moment. Run a player out of that, or a run a player out of that. So that's the bias at the moment. What I'm possibly looking at from a movement at the minute. We've had a massive down channel into here. We're bouncing up into drives. So we've got a 1 drive, 2 drive, probably bounce off here. We might break a structure here. Okay. going into this area. And then I do believe we might take the higher highs here, but then possibly a drive down to here to go to the higher side. And if it doesn't do that, I do dare see it'll come down to here to possibly just rock it off. I do believe that this is going to start making a move to the higher sides, because we've been on a massive downturn over the last several weeks. It's just over the last few days we have had a bit of a climb. If we go on to the daily, just on the higher time frame consensus, and again, this is only structured into 2 hours. Okay, you can see certainly massive downtrend on that daily, and we starting to come back up. We haven't quite respected this high. I mean, I know this is a hot mess. We haven't respected up into here. Just want to put horizontal rear certainly under that area. Daily. I'm just going to write daily on there. Go back down to 1 minute. Get our cells drilled in. That's where we're concentrating on at the moment, guys. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video. I can see at the moment, which is not like the Euro USD, we're very, very wicky, and it looks like we're getting a push down now. So we'll stay on the video just for a minute or two. Looks like we're going to get a push down on the lower side, which is what I was anticipating, to be fair. Take out the lower side before we take out the high side. And see how it's wicked. Yeah, it's push through, it's pushing through. And that, that'll do me at the moment. So we're going to be looking at a short, possibly that. Bit risky, because when you look at this, okay, that's a bit risky, because you look at all these higher ends, the higher sides, as we call it. Let's just get this. All of these hold sort of liquidity in themselves. And I don't really want to put a stop loss going all the way up to here. So I'm going to risk this one, to be fair. I'm going to risk it. We'll have 2 pip. It's a 1 to 9. I would like to think we'll get a 1 to 2, to be fair, but liquidity resides just around all there. So I'll have that there. We've got a 1 to 2.06. I'm going to risk it again. There is liquidity being held along this area here, so it is a bit of a risky move, but we are around about 2% or so in profit. So I'm just going to hold that, see if it holds structure to return back down to the downside, and we'll be back in a moment, guys. But on the movement at the moment, guys, let's just get the fire wand out. So at the moment on the movement, we've got higher highs, higher lows. We haven't quite pushed out of this higher high. So a bit of a reversal on the first swing point coming out of this range. We're coming down. We've made another it'll be a lower low, that area. Okay, that's a lower low. This on the top, and it's imperative that we mark these areas out. Lower high, and it just helps you identify structure, to be fair. I'm just going to make that purple. I think it might be a bit better. Yeah. So again, we might get the return up, get the touch hopefully to come back down. This is going to be a 2.06. I do want it 1 to 2. We're going to risk again 1%. We'll see if we get an entry, and then from there, if we do get a winning trade on this, our next trade will then become the asymmetrical compounding trade, where we can turn the dial and look for another good entry, and then hopefully double up on what we have. So we're going to pause the video there, guys. We'll just say we'll get the entry. This is the full setup. We've come out of the push up. We've come down into a low, a high, a high, low, a high, a high, higher low, the lower high because it hasn't broke structure, and then we've come into a lower low. Hopefully the lower high next point will be around about the entry area, and then we'll take it down to take out the liquidity on the lower side. Okay, we'll pause the video and we'll be back in a moment. All right, so we've had an entry. However, it's very, very wicky. This can be a little bit of a dangerous trade, to be fair. We've got a lot of sort of areas where we can get liquidity to be taken, to be fair. We have risked it. We're in it anyway. This, again, I must stress, these sessions that I do, these are demo purposes. These are just to show you intentionally structure, how I work upon structure, how I lay out my goalposts, what I do for my bias, and then from there, again, we did that 4 weeks worth, and I was actually trading this way, and you see me apply the trades, which obviously ended up winning in front of your very eyes. Would have been 39% growth. So I'm trying to implement that asymmetric compounding alongside that with structure, with how we do our goalposts. Okay, so again, if this works out, it works out. I wish I'd just started doing that asymmetrical compounding based on the last 4 weeks, because that would have been fantastic. We would have seen exactly where that goes. Hopefully we continue our run of trend and look with regards to the way the entries come in, the exits, the TPs, and we'll take a few losses, no doubt, as well, which is what will probably happen here, to be fair. But again, if this goes the way we expect it to, we hit those couple of trades in a row, then we get one of them, turn the dial, compound risks, we can double or maybe treble the trade, to be fair. But again, it's something we're doing and we're showcasing when we're putting on these lives as it happens, if that makes sense. So again, what I do on these are for educational use, for you to go over yourself, for you to apply and implement and practice with as well. I urge everybody to do all these sort of things on demo, practice as much as you can, do your overlays, do your bias, do your paths, do your structure points, and then work upon your breaker structure from there. As long as them swing points hold on the structure points, okay, then you've got every much a chance for them to go in and out for this fire scalp. Okay, it's all about that previous structure point holding. You can get in and out. If anything pushes out and through the other area, it just means it's a break of that other structure, and then there's a possible reversal on the way on that. Okay, so again, for now, I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back. We'll see what happens with this trade, see if it comes down to meet our criteria, and then we'll take it from there, guys. Okay, this is a risk to reward of 1 to 2. If it comes out, that's 2% gained. We can then look at the next trade to possibly do the turning of the dial. Again, it's acting a little bit risky for us at the moment. That's a lower high at the minute as well. It just, we need this to start pushing down, to be fair. We need it to take liquidity on the low side. This is pretty, what's the word? That there is, yes, it went into drawdown, but it's created that lower high point. For me, that means it's a little bit of a good sign, because we might get that initial drive down. We'll just see what happens, to be fair, guys. I mean, if this comes up and pushes through this, it's going to take this, and it'll possibly start taking this. It'll continue to the upside. We just need this to do its drive down, to be honest. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back. Hopefully it'll go the way we want it to, and then we can get back into the next trade, which will be our compounding asymmetrical one. There we are, guys. So unfortunately, this one has hit us out on there. I'm just going to put this on here, so that's knocking us back down to the one trade, to be fair. A -1. Again, I'm going to be open and honest with you. I'm going to be totally open and honest with you on these. So that's a 2.78 we're down to now. So now we still need to do 2 trades in a row. And I'm not rushing myself. It is a Friday. I'm not going to rush myself to look for those 2 trades today. If I'm honest with you, these sessions that I do normally only hold 1 or 2 trades a day. We have now took off on the higher side. So now we've got a -1%. Look at that. Skyrocket off. Now, I thought this was going to come in to play into here. It has technically, and now it's shooting off to the higher side. So the bias on this has been pretty spot on, to be fair. It has been spot on. So I'm pretty chuffed to the point that the bias I was expecting, we've come into play on this range, okay? And then it's took off, but we needed a touch on the higher side. Again, order block wise, that's your order block there. Yeah, and if we got in on an entry, that's an entry there, 1 to 2. Again, I'm just going to put this on my live trade as well, so I do live trading as well. Let's take a look. Open that on there. We'll come back in a moment. We'll see what happens with this. See if it comes in on an entry to take us up. But at the moment, we've updated this, which is our 1 minute scalper session to deal with it a -1. Not so much sort of upset or gutted, to be fair. We still are on 2.78% growth for the week, considering we are only into day 3 of week 1, part 2. Overall, you've got 39, and then there's 2.78. So overall, guys, I'm just going to take a look. So you've got 39.07 plus over the last 2 days, a couple of days, 2.78. I'm 41.85% in profit for the last 5 weeks. So again, I'll look at it as a bigger picture. If I just do that, copy that, paste into there. And I'll just do an overall, just so this is going to sort of keep my mindset there, 41.85%. And what I can do is obviously we'll do this to the run up into November, and then obviously there'll be a cut-off time in December. We'll see where we can take this figure going into that. This is just going to let me document everything like this, and I'll do this each day up until where I feel where the markets are far too slow, which is going to be the Christmas period. We'll see where we can take this number using this method going up to Christmas. So that's going to be the goal for this. Okay. So I'm just going to, once again, get onto here. 41.85% is where we are. Yeah, a bit bigger. We're going to stop the share and wait for this to do some sort of return back down to here. Again, we need this to be underneath that stop, to be fair, for the liquidity. 1.97. 1.97 is the risk on this. Again, guys, we're risking 1%. Remember, that's 1%. And what I'll do, in fact, I'll stop the share, and we'll go over this compound and stuff again. So one more time, if you're looking at this asymmetrical compounding. So I'm going to talk about this one more time. So what we have, guys, okay, and this is the basic preference of what I'm working this on. If you have your risk to reward, okay, now we're looking for 2 wins. Just so see if this will sink in for you, because the more you see this, the more you'll understand it. Where we at? Get this bigger. Get this bigger. Right. So you've got a 1 to 3. We'll always work this on a 1 to 3 for now. It wins. You've got 3%. Okay. Let's say the next one is only a 1 to 2. It wins. That takes your profit 5%. Okay. Now, you only need 2 wins, right? So once you get 2 wins, we look at the risk to reward, which is normally 1%, plus whatever percentage your new risk is going to be. Okay, so let's say this new risk is going to be, I don't know, we'll say we don't want anything that's lower than 1 to 2. So let's say you find, I don't know, you might find again a 1 to 3 to be conservative. Okay, you're then doing the 1 plus your percentage, so that there is 1 plus 3. Okay, so that becomes the power of 4. Okay, so that's the power of 4. So 4 multiplied by your 3% gain is 12. Okay, so that's 12 plus your 5% you gained earlier. That takes you instantly a growth of 17%. Okay, now let's say it loses. Let's say that lost. You 1 to 3 if it was to lose by the power of 4. Okay, you wouldn't lose 12%. You would only lose the percentage that you have initially risked. Okay, so that 1 to 3, it would have been 12% gain, but in this instance it lost. Okay, so you've lost 4%. That would then take that down to the 1% gain. Okay, so then you start off again. Let's say if it lost, you would start off and you would need to get 2 wins again. So you've got a 1, let's say a 1 to 2. You've gone back to a 1 to 2. It wins. So your 1% onto the 2 becomes a 3% gain. Okay. Let's say your next one becomes, you find a 1 to 3. It wins. You back up to 6%. Okay. Now you've got the 2 wins. You're now turning the dial. Okay. You're turning the dial to try and maximize the best. Let's just say it was here 1 to 2. It's only a 1 to 2, but again, you are doing the mathematical equation of 1 plus whatever percentage you're risking. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so this is going to be to the power of 3. Okay, let's see, it wins. So 3 times 2 is 6%. 6% growth on top of your 6 is a 12% gain. See the power of that? It's absolutely fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, if this had lost, you only lost your 3%. So you've already got 6%. You take away 3% of that, it takes you back down to 3%. And then you start the whole process off again of needing 2 wins. So your 3% goes back down to just risking your 1% to go. You get a 1 to 2. It wins. You go back to 5% growth. A 1 to 3. Okay. It wins. You go to 8% growth. Then you go, let's see, you go back down to a 1 to 2. Because this is 2 wins in a row, you go to the mathematical equation of 1 plus the risk on here. So it's to the power of 3. Okay. Let's see, it wins 6%. So then you've got your 8 plus your 6. You now got 14% growth. I hope that sort of sinks in for you guys. Again, it's all about sticking to the rules of the asymmetrical compounding. It is very powerful. Once you hit that 3 trades running streak, it's absolutely fantastic. It's all about just hitting that first rung of getting the 3 in a row. If you get the 3 in a row, bang, you've doubled your account. From there, once you've attained that, you're going back down to risking the 1% only, and then you need to risk the 1% again. Once you get the 2 wins, you're then reverting back to that system there where you are going to do the compounding. So let's say you've now got your 14%. Okay, you risk, let's just say the next 2 are 1 to 2, 1 to 2. Okay, let's see, it wins. This one wins 16%. Okay, 16%. This one loses, you're down to 15%. So what do? You go back, you're needing 2 wins. Okay, so now you've got your 15%. Okay, you get a, let's see, you get another 1 to 2. Let's say then you get another 1 to 2. They both win. Okay, 2 winners. You've got 16, 17. So now you've got your 2 winners. You revert back to this. Okay, let's see that third one. You've got a 1 to 3. Again, the mathematical equation, 1% plus the reward. So that's to the power of 4. Let's see, it wins. Okay, so you've got the 12% gain plus the 17 that you've already got. You've now got 29% reward. Boom. And you can see we factored in a lot of losers on here. We factored in a lot of losers, and you still bang 29% on there. That's absolutely fantastic, guys. I can't sort of get this into the heads any easier or any sort of way better than what I'm showing there at the moment. Again, we have one good friend of mine who's trading this system. He's took it on board. He watches what I do on a day-to-day basis, and he's been implementing this. Let's just see if we can get it on here. Just to show you. We'll get the Discord on. So you'll see on here, finished early trading session, got in 2 winning trades on the using a 1 to 3 RR with asymmetrical compound, 15% growth, and giving me so far this week 34.69% growth. 34.69% growth, guys. This stuff is trading on steroids. It's absolutely fantastic. And I just want to give a big shout out to Peter, who's been sort of implementing and putting this into practice, and he's been seeing some phenomenal results, to be fair. And long may it continue, because again, it is, for me, once I seen this asymmetrical compound, it is a fantastic way to trade. And a shout out goes out to one of the other mods in my group, Andy Boland. He's the one who brought this sort of style of trading to my attention. Again, 2 winning trades is all it takes, and then you get to turn that dial, and that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. At the moment, we're back down to the bottom of the ladder. We've had a loss today. We need to get those 2 wins. Don't need to get them today, but it would be nice to bag another one in here. Get that 2%. If this one comes in, hits entry, hits target, we turn that -1 into a +1 today. So again, we're going to get a touch. This is just about a touch in. We'll see what happens. We're at the halfway point as well. And you know what that means, guys? It's time for the Forex Fire cup of tea in the big mug. So I'm going to go pause this video, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Hi, guys. We've hit an entry. Got the halftime show snacks. And the trusty Forex Fire cup of tea mug. So let's see if we can get this back. Again, we've got a level here where we could possibly get the 1% back, to be fair, if we went down that route. We'll see what happens. I might attain and cut my losses because it's Friday, to be fair. If we hit this level, close out at the 1%, just means I've got that 1% back, and then I'm back to break even. And then it means I've had the movement within my 2 hours. We'll see if this comes back to hit, or even it hasn't even gone up to hit that yet. If this hits this area, we've got 2 areas at the moment. That's the 2% area. That's the 1% there. See if we go up to there. I mean, obviously, we forgot to factor in our break of structure areas, didn't we? So there's your break of structure. Yeah, we've got that there. If this comes up and bounces up into here, I'll close this out and take out that 1%, to be fair, because with it being Friday, for me personally, I don't normally like to trade too much on a Friday, so I don't want to sort of risk too much, if I'm honest. With what we got here, I do believe it's still going to push up on the higher side, but I'm going to be happy to retain this 1% back, to be fair. Very conservative at times, I am. Let's just take a look. We wait and see. See if we can get that drive back up. We'll pause the video. We'll come back and see if this has come up to touch into this. If it has, it means we've closed out, guys, at that 1%. We're back at break even for the day. We can have a reset, restructure, and then look at the charts again. So I'll be back in a moment. Just going to have a little cup of tea. We've not had many of these, guys. We've not had many of these at all. Again, we didn't come up to reach the 1%. We've come out, we've smashed through another -1. These days happens. These days happen. Let's take a look. -1%. That takes us down to a 1.78. Overall, 40.85. So overall, I'm not too concerned. For the week, 1.78. We'll just go back to the chart. Let's restructure ourselves and see where we are at. Let's take a look. Just going to get rid of some noise as well, to be fair. Let's just have a reset. Let's have a reset thought. So we've come back into the zone, to be fair, where we started this morning. Look, so we had the breakout underneath on the downside, and then obviously the range, we need to do a huge overall reset here. So we broke out, we've come back into the range, to be fair. And we need to do these resets every once in a while. Let's have a look. I mean, there's slightly blue tinge and light. So we can say we've come back into this range area. And we've got our lows, the high lows, high highs, high lows. And then we've come back into the range, to be fair. So I'm not going to rush myself into trying to get into the trade overall, to be honest. We need a huge push out of the range. We're coming in to test, if I'm honest with you, we are coming in to test this order block here. See this here? We've got an order block down in the bottom corner, which is nested inside of this big range. I'm not going to trade this. I'm just going to see how it reacts off this area. And if you look, we speak about 50% on things. That's certainly to the eye, 50%. We'll see if it's going to crush through here. Yeah, it's going to crush through. It's going to crush through that order block as well. So it's taken out the range on the high. It's taken out the range on the low. Let's get rid of that. Liquidity residing on here, liquidity on the top side. Again, -1. It's a -1 there, just to be visual. Top side, that's the range at the moment. And you've also got UBC, push to push. Let's put it there. So we'll see what's going to happen with regards to a pullback on here. There's a 1 to 2.9, 2.29, sorry. 1 second left. We need to get a bit of a pullback, to be fair. Let's just be visual again. This would be a lower high. And again, guys, I'm not going to sweat over this. It's good to be getting days like this because it's gonna give us something to look back on our analysis, to be fair, on how the trends went within our trading session. There we go, we've got the pullback there. Now, again, we're risking 1%. I will only ever risk, okay, once I'm on a -3 for the day, I tend to stop my trading for that day. So this could potentially be our last trade for the session for the day. Let's see if we'll get that push up. I'm just going to set this on my other account. Let's get this onto here. So I've just opened a trade on my other account, to be fair, guys, because I do live trade at the same time, to be fair. What you don't see, in all honesty, is I've got my Mac, which is in front of me, which is what we're on at the moment. And then I've got a second screen just to the side of me where I'll do my live trades as well. So yes, I'm doing stuff demo-wise to show you on this, but I also take the live trades on the other screen as well. So technically I am live trading as well. From there, we're waiting for a return up from the pullback on here into the range of this. The order block is of this pullback. So I'm using most of the range on this pullback, to be fair. The order block, if you want to refine it, would definitely be, I would have done it from here up to the top of here, but I'm sort of getting in on a little bit of an early entry with a bit more of a cushion stop loss. So this is going to give us a 2.29 from there. So if this does get an entry and it gets a fulfillment, we've not only covered the 2%, but we do get that little bit of growth as well. If it feels, we document it, we move on. But for me, it's me showing you the raw, the real, honest approach. There's too many things out there at the moment where they're just showing you win, 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 win. It's all good, but are they actually structurally showing you that the analysis we're doing and it falls flat on its face? I don't think that they are, to be fair. And if they are, you'll have to put your comments below and let me know about them, because I don't see them at all. I just want to give you the honesty, the value, and the integrity, okay? And then obviously from there, when I do these sessions, we can build upon the confidence, consistency, and profitability. Again, the capital is being protected. The house, the capital is being protected with what we have. We have that overall growth at the moment. And I'm going to take this into the Christmas period again, guys. I'm going to take it in the Christmas period of this overall. See where we can take this growth from what we did 4 weeks ago. And I'll continue to document these, because it's not just helping you understand, obviously, what we do with these things, but it also helps me with my confidence and my consistency as well. So what I'm going to do, we're going to wait and see if we get an entry. We are now coming up to 9:45. So we're into the final furlong of this. 2 losses today. Again, not overly worried, considering what we've made this week so far anyway, plus on the back end of what we've made over the last 5 weeks. So I'm going to pause the share. We'll be back in a moment, see if we're getting entry. And I'm just glad that I'm being able to show you the other side of trading where we do get those losses. And again, you can tell by my voice, I'm not stressed. I'm not overly concerned. It's just how we understand how the markets have moved and why they've moved the way they have. there isn't any level of consistency within this, as you can see, within a channel or a trend. Even going into this, you can see the markets, we've had the nice trend going down here. We've possibly missed 2 or 3 good trades, and it shows you the way and the method that I'm using on this. It's always good and it's always advisable to be able to be trading the trend, if that makes sense, because when you get the pullbacks, you are then going to be coming into these intermediary zones of being able to catch these order blocks, and then like you've got the chances of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on a higher time frame aspect on there, but you've got so many on the intermediary price level on that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So from there, guys, again, bigger picture wise, we are still doing fantastic. We'll continue to do so. So I'm just going to pause the share and I'll be back in a moment. I'm going to finish my cup of tea off. Hi guys, so now we're starting to have our trend come down. It's got a lower high. We've now got a lower low. So now I can get rid of that. We've definitely come out of the range. Let's make this a little bit bigger. We've definitely come out of the range. So I'm just going to get rid of what I was going to be anticipating. And we're actually coming down and heading into the lower demand area, to be fair. So order block just above. Let's get this correct. Would be looking at that. And again, guys, we are -2 for the session at the moment. Let's have a look. 2.61. And what we are waiting for, again, a lot of numbers on the side, but where's the timer? There's the timer. We've got 9 seconds, 8 seconds left. I'm waiting for a bit of a pullback, to be fair. I'm just going to set my other parameter. So I'm just setting my live account with the trade. Again, we're coming down. Let's just measure out our break of structures. We always anticipate and always mark everything out so we can have a conclusion at the end of the trading session. Okay, so again, get the magic wand. So as we're coming down, our risk to reward is getting better. So 1 to 3 on there. We've had the break of structure. Okay, so as we've had the break of structure, we get rid of that. We don't need that neither, to be fair. So there's our pullback at the moment. We're starting to get a pullback. Risk to reward 1 to 3.4, 2.2. Right, so we'll do that as a risk to reward there. See if we get our pull back into the areas of the entry on here. Again, the order block, if you wanted to be visual with that, the order block we have at the moment is that there, but our order block, we always have the entry covering just before the order block and the cushion just after. Okay, so again, let's just mark this up just to be visual. That's a firebox, not the firebox we want. It is the order block. There we are. See if we get a return down on there. This could quite possibly be the final trade for the session, because we're now at 10:30. Once I know we on this break structure line, once we come back into play into here, there's every chance that we will then certainly come into this range, because that there to that is the range. Okay, just to give you a little bit more sort of consensus. Okay, so this is a range. The pullback is the range. From the range, you've got what you call your firebox areas. You'll have certain areas within here that structurally that will be respected, as you can see, bang and bang bang, and these will come back in to respect these areas. Get that back. There we are. Get that onto there. Let's see how this plays out, guys. Again, risk to reward of just over 1 to 3. Let's see if we can get some back from what we've lost this morning. Again, I'm not overly concerned. It's just good. It is nice to actually get, if we do have a losing day, it's nice to have a losing day, because it just shows you what I'm doing is real. We've had a long running, good run at this, where we've grown a good 40-odd% overall over 5 weeks. But it'd be maybe it would be nice to get 1 or 2 actual losing days. It just shows you that I'm not perfect. So again, guys, just going to stop the video, and we'll be back in a moment. So let's have a look at this structure wise again, guys. We've got a low now, and at the moment we've got a lower high. Okay, the lower high has respected into quite a strong point area, to be fair. I'm just going to get rid of the noise of it, because you've seen what those are about. I've spoke about them loads of times before. We might get the push back up into the area. I'm still going to hold this price, this area. The only way where this would change is if this drive now from here comes out and takes out that area. Now we're starting to get our formations. Now we're getting our a structured approach. This looks as if we're going to start getting a bit of a channel. So it's just a shame we're coming to the end of our sort of allowance that we are giving ourselves. And again, even if I see this continuation of trend after the 10:30, I won't trade it. My time is my time. It's my rules. It's what I set. It's my plan. I will never, ever deviate off the rules, the plan, and everything that I set myself. And there's a reason why I do that. It's because I'm consistent with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Yes, today at the moment is a -2%. We're going to have a bit end of day conclusion, end of day chat, as we always do in the end of these. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. We'll stop the sharing moment, pause the video, and we'll see if we get the entry that we need, or will this do what it may do a continuation and trend and push out of this sort of lower area. Okay, again, we will see what the anticipation is going to be and what will happen. Hopefully we'll get that bounce up and then down. With regard to the path, you've come up, you come down. I'm hoping for that. Let's hope we get that, and then we'll be back in a second. Hi guys, so as you can see, our final entry for today has came in. Again, we are on 1 to 3.4. However, to break even, this would be this level here. Okay, that level there will be to break even. If we come down to that level, for me personally, I'll close the trade off there, because that means we're broke even for the day, and I'll be happy with that. It just means we've had a lesson in the market for the Friday, and then we close off the week being profitable, and we'll update everything. What we'll do from there, we'll keep on this session until after the half past. We need to see what happens with this trade, because it entered live at 20 past 10, sorry, 20 past 8, starting again. 20 past 10 is when this ended. So this is a live trade, okay? I'm not going to go for the 1 to 3. I'll be happy if it goes to the 2. It just closes out and keeps us at a break even. We will stay alive. We'll wait and see what happens with it. And then at the end of this session, we're going to have a chat and a talk through what's happened today, what's happened throughout this week, what I want to do driving forward, and how obviously use implementing this sort of stuff and this sort of structure, how it can help you with your confidence and consistency as well. Okay, so we're going to be aiming for the break even, the 1 to 2. We've had 2 losing trades. This will just bring us to a break even today. Let's see if we'll get that. I'll be happy if this goes to that. And again, we will be staying on until this trade either stops us out or it hits us on the break even point. So I'm just going to stop the share. We'll be back in a second. I'm going to keep an eye on this at the moment. We'll play it out and then we'll come to a conclusion for today. There we have it, guys. We've got our 1 to 2. Pulled it back today, 2%. Break even, happy with that. Been a hard session today in all honesty, but we're going to have a conclusion and an overview look, okay? So again, we've got our 2% back. The growth. It's a break even day. So again, put that 2% on there, 3.78. Put that 2% on there. $3.78, 42.85 is what we're on overall. I'll do these workings out. I'll make sure this is correct later on to make sure we have got the overall over the 5 weeks. Okay, so the overall is 42.85 running total weekly. Week. How am I going to put this? So we've got the overall 42%, 0.85. Part 2 weekly. Running total 3.78. Just get this. Make that a little bit smaller, 1 to 10. There we are. So the part 2 weekly running total is 3.78. Okay. We need to have that going on to the next session. We're going to have a look at the chart now. So let's just minimize that. Let's have a relook at the analysis. Again, well, the preference is we work this upon a structure-based goalposts our 2 hours. Our directional bias was correct at the start of this morning. Okay, we came into the bottom part and we were heading up to the top end. However, it took a downturn and come into the lower areas. Now, these are massively important. Okay, massively important to our day-to-day buyers, because if there is a reversal and you've got your goalposts, you've got your crossbars on the top, you've got your goal lines on the bottom, you've got your demand, your supply. If these are heading towards any of these areas, structure-wise, order block-wise, range-wise, so your order block will be inside of the range. Okay, so your range is what you're going to be doing, like this sort of thing here. Okay, you have a break out the range, you're then nesting inside of your range, which then becomes your order block. Okay, so these areas are important. These always head towards these areas. Now, I've done other videos in the past with regards to fire zones and things like that, where you've got fibs within that range and there's certain quarter structural points that are respected in there, but you need to look on my YouTube channel for those other videos. From there, guys, a general, from my sort of mind's eye, when we look at this, we were very choppy anyway. There was no level of consistency with regards to a directional trend, a continuation. Now, this is where structure and market movements and price action is key. What I base this upon, because it is a 1 minute, a 1 minute scalp is a refined sort of entry to higher time frame entries. Price is always the same. Okay, it's just a more refined entry. Okay, now, as you can see on here, we certainly bang, and we were very choppy going into this. So in hindsight, in all honesty, we traded well. Even though we took a loss at the beginning, we traded well because we identified structurally that the markets weren't where we needed them to be. We identified the markets weren't behaving in the what's the word, how we adapt to where we need a continuation of trend to be able to sort of trade those pullbacks. So we were able to, towards the end, get into that lower high, lower channel and be able to take a trade from out of that little continuation that we seen towards the end and be able to pull out a break-even trade. Now, when you look at this now, we could have hit a 1%. We could have hit a 1 to 3. So we could have been 1% in profit. But this is about being able to look at the markets and being taken out what you're comfortable with. Okay. So for me, even though this went to a 1 to 3, I was happy to close this out at that 2% that I knew if it did, I was at break even, and I've closed it out at break even. So for me personally, I'm now ending the week on a high, because having this controlled approach to my trading and not jumping in on any sort of trade. I mean, I know we got in on here, but we were expecting a continuation up sort of thing, because this could have technically have just been a fake out because we got the higher high here. We have traded well today, in all fairness. Okay, so today's been a break-even day overall. We have gained overall for the week so far 3.78. Okay, we've gained a 3.78 overall for the week. Okay, the first day I was at hospital, so I couldn't trade. We got a 5% here. We turned the dial, okay, because we had that asymmetrical compounding chance on this day. Unfortunately, it went against us, but it didn't matter because we gained a 2% gain on here. Okay. From there, guys, we got a 1.78 yesterday. We hit 2 losses going into today. Yes, when you look at it, it can be disheartening. But when we look at where we were on the bigger picture, the bigger scope, all of this, okay, 40 odd %, that 2% is just a drop in the ocean when you look at it that way. but then we turned it around, brought it back, and we sort of got that the trade back sort of thing. So what we'll do is from there, just gonna have a quick chat. Just gonna stop the share and have my end of day conclusion. Okay, so this is where I am, guys. This is where I am with this at the moment. I'm having fun doing this. I'm finding that I work upon 3 preferences on trading, and that's building confidence, consistency. The profitability comes alongside putting those 2 blocks together, and more so this asymmetrical stuff. Again, I'm not rushing into getting into trades to try and get to turn that dial. That comes over time with the level of practice and putting it together. And I have no doubt that we will go into from here up until the Christmas period. This is where I'm at now. I'm going to continue to do these up until the Christmas period. Okay, we'll see where we can take this, and I'm going to document every single day I can get the chance to beat the chart from 8:30 till 10:30. We'll do these sessions, see where we can take an account up until, I dare say, maybe the 2nd week of December, and that's when I'm going to sort of cut off my trading for this documentation, to be fair, because of my sort of past when I've been trading. Once you get into the 2nd week of December, the markets are slow. The markets can be very, very funny, and we don't want to sort of have the account being affected with that. From there, I still enjoy continuing to do these, because I learn so much from doing these as well, and I hope you are as well. If you don't mind, please engage, drop your comment below, let me know what you thought of today's session. It's been good, in all honesty, and I said this earlier on, it's been good to take a couple of losses, to be fair, because it does test the trader's mindset as to how you are going to react. What is it going to sort of affect what you're looking at in the markets? And okay, and as you can imagine, with me doing this live as such, it's sort of holds me accountable, and it puts that little bit more added pressure. Okay, now, like I say, I go on my journey. I've been trading for a little over 4 years now, so I am in the zone, a trading zone, if you like to call it that, and I'm comfortable that if I lose, I lose. It's just a numbers game to me. That's where I'm at in my state of mind. It's just a numbers game for me now. As long as I've got my strategy, which I know works, clearly you can see what I do on this on a day-to-day basis, but also as long as I stick to the risk to reward and the plan that I have, I know it's just a numbers game, and I'm going to take some hits. I'm going to take some losses. But what we have and what we are implementing at the moment is fantastic with this asymmetrical stuff. And I just want to give a big shout out to Peter, who I know watches these sessions, and I know he is taking everything on board and he's implementing these. Peter, if you don't know, is part of this group here. Now, Peter himself has been doing this, and this week alone, Peter has attained around about 35%. That's this week, a 35% growth on his account. Yes, he's doing this on demo, and I highly recommend you do that. It gets you to build your confidence. It gets you to build your consistency. And when you see those and you can control your emotions, we then build that upon the building blocks and get you to the profitability. Now, Peter has been absolutely smashing this. He's seen this technique, and not only just doing this technique, which he's been doing for a number of weeks now, he's now implementing the area where we can see, right, we've took a win. Now he steps up a ladder. Now he gets to turn the dial on that third trade. And if he turns the dial and he unlocks what that dial is going to give him, it's going to compound his profit times 3, times 4, depending on what that third risk to reward is, because you will always only have a risk 1% or even 0.5%. You get your 2 winning trades. Okay, when you get your second winning trade, your third one, you're on the dial step where you can say, right, your risk, let's say it's 1%. Your current reward, if you get the 1 to 3, is the 3% on a win, but you're going to add up the 1 plus that reward of 3%, that's 4. So the 1% becomes to the power of 4. So if that 1 to 3 comes in and you win it, okay, you've grown your account by 12%. But you've previously accumulated enough profit to create a safety net. Okay, so you cannot turn the dial, you cannot increase your risk until you have created put your stakes in for the safety net. Trade 1, trade 2, we have a safety net. So you've built an accumulation safety net, turn the dial. If the dial doesn't work and it comes back as a loss, you just fall back down onto the safety net, and then you're back down to ground and you start again. Get trade 1, bang. Get trade 2, bang. Safety net. Turn the dial. Have you turned the dial? Yes, you skyrocket your account. That's what it's all about, guys. Okay. And I know, and I'll say this again, Peter, you're doing fantastic, and I know there's other people watching this. Hopefully, the others that are seeing what I'm doing on this, you will see the power and the value in it. What I'm going to be looking to be doing is maybe in the new year, I might be starting to get 1 or 2 people on here with me as we look through this. But if you are wanting to be on that, you have to support this channel. You have to be supporting this to be able to come on to what I will eventually be starting to do a live. Okay, guys. So again, thank you very much. I hope you are taking so much out of this. Today has been a lesson in itself, taking those 2 losses. But again, strong mind, healthy mind. And we brought it back to a break even. We could have even took it to a +1 for today. So that's been my session for today. I hope you take something out of this, whether it's out of the structure side of things, or whether it's just the mindset in general, just being able to understand that, yes, you're going to take a couple of losses, but if we stick to the plan, and this is what we come to the end, morale to today's moral to the story on this, you stick to the plan and what you know. Eventually, when you come into these trends, okay, and you get the bounce back, you will get something out of the market. Okay, been a bit choppy today, but we still ended up break even. Could have been a +1. So my name's been John, Mr. Forex Fire. We will catch you later on, and have a fantastic week, guys. See you later.